Right, hello. A long time since we did a video. This is the 13th of October 2024 and we're at Los Barrios near Algeciras at the southern tip of Spain, and we're just off to get our tickets for the ferry over to Morocco. And we thought we'd video this just to give everybody a flavour of what it's all about. Like I said, heading over to Carlos's shop now. This is a Sunday, so it's really quiet around here. It's a massive commercial area, loads of big supermarkets, petrol stations, all of that. And that's Carlos's shop there, just on the corner, which is easy to find on Google Maps. So we're headed in with our passports, V5, for the van, insurance documents in case we need that, etc. So just outside Carlos's office, as you can see, the sign that most people will be familiar with. Quite a funny thing, there's a cardboard cutout of, I presume that's Carlos, and I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like he's had a heavy night. Anyway, we're going to head inside now and see what's going on. Well, I think that took about 10 minutes in and out. We were looked after by Maria. She was excellent. This place is open 7 days a week. 9 till 9, I think it is, but Google Maps will help you with that. There is parking free. We're parked just down there. But the main car park that you see on Park for Nights, which we'll show you in a bit, is just over on the other side, so you'll be able to walk from there as well. So we just paid €270 on a credit card, about 240 quid, I think.
Open return, that wasn't it?
Open return. Today's Sunday. We're going early. Well, we had the choice of 3 sailings on Tuesday. We wanted to go Tuesday morning because we've got the vet for the dog tomorrow, which I'll explain that in a minute. But we've got it's an open return, like Jan says, and we had the choice of 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock or 1 o'clock. That's Balearia is the ferry company, which is the one that we were recommended.
For the dog mainly?
Mainly for the dog, but I also understand that they help you, actually the staff are good and they help you get on the ferry easier as well, because sometimes with the slightly longer vehicles with the overhang, there's a tendency to clip the bottom, but I've seen a video or two where they help you navigate that a little bit better. And Maria said as well that Balearia was the best for the dog. Anything to add?
Yeah, we get a nice present as well.
We don't know what it is. It's a bottle of wine and some biscuits, I think.
Biscuits,
cake. Just get out of the road.
Pretty painless, that, weren't it?
Yeah, extremely painless. Incidentally, I'll add some photographs if I can. But we also got which is dead useful actually, because I do use a paper map occasionally. So I've got a Michelin Morocco paper map there.
And we got a SIM card as well.
Yeah, you want to explain that?
Well, it's just €10 for a SIM card, but you can go in any garage or anything and top it up, it says.
Yeah.
But don't put it in until you actually get in Morocco. Don't activate it.
Yeah, it's already active. It's already activated, so you need to make sure you don't put it in until you're in Moroccan territory. It was €10 for 7.5 gig. I have heard from somebody else that the one they got from Carlos actually ran out quite quickly, but at least it gives us a bit of data just to
get started, really.
Just to get started, yeah. We normally use eSIMs, but my understanding is there's no eSIMs available for Morocco. I've looked, there might be, but I've looked into it and I couldn't see any.
But at least we've got something when we get over there.
Yeah, it just prevents that little bit of panic stations, doesn't it? If you're coming out the ferry terminal on the other side and you're relying on your sat nav and you're not quite sure where you're going and that type of thing for your first stop or whatever. So we didn't need to get it. We could have got a a month's data when we get over there, but it just makes it easier, doesn't it? Just one other thing to mention on the tickets. My understanding was that you get a voucher from Carlos, and then I've read that you've got to go to a little office at the port to get your actual ticket. But what she's just told us is that the voucher that we've got, it's just a printed off A4, is the actual ticket for the outbound trip. Although she did say that for the return trip, we've got to take that voucher, if you like, the ticket to an office for Balearia at Tangier Med to get the actual ticket for return. Just on the timings of the ferries, I said that we'd opted for the 10 o'clock on Tuesday, but it is an open return, so they put that on. But we could actually
earlier or later.
We could get on any one. And also return, she asked us when we think we're going to return, which in our case is the 13th of January, which is our 89th day. Our green card expires the day after, but she actually put the 15th of January on it. It's just a provisional booking, if you like, but you can just...
She actually said that the ticket's valid for 12 months though as well.
Yeah, incidentally, one thing I forgot to mention, on the, you get like a little wallet from Carlos with all your documentation, and there's a QR code, because I'm not entirely certain where we actually go, but there's a QR code with in effect a map which tells you the directions to get to the port and all that. Just another step in the process. LPG, I've just had to nip back up the motorway 5 minutes because the LPG garage, it's just over there. It's called Codes. Fuel is more expensive here. The fuel is cheapest near Gibraltar or back on the retail part near Carlos. It's currently 1.3 euros, so that's cheap. It's probably just over about £1.5 or something. In the last number of months, that's the cheapest we've paid since Turkey, I think. So pretty good. They've also got, just behind me here, a service point for your black waste. You get a token. I think it's €3. If you look on the Part for Night app, it's got this down as a service point. But I'm just letting out the grey waste just over here. That's free, and there is free fresh water just back over near the LPG pump. So I've just paid just under €1, 95 cents for LPG per litre, so that's about 80 pence, something like that, so pretty decent. So we've just come a bit further along from where we were. So this place here is this Leroy Merlin. There's also a Teed Animal, which is a pet store, and a animal clinic, which presumably you can get your animal health certificate there. We're going to a different one just up the road simply because I emailed them last week and made an appointment for tomorrow. And then the rest of this car park you'll see behind me. That's the big Mercadona I mentioned. And then there's a number of vans, not too many, half a dozen. And then some sort of commercial vans and other trucks and that in this area. Final point, just somewhere just over that way. It's about a 20-25 minute walk. There's a beach and a promenade area, so I don't know what it's like, but we're going to be taking the dog down there for a bit of an exercise. At the moment he's patiently waiting for me, aren't you, Caps? Good boy. Well, then again, this is Monday now, the day after. I just thought I'd show you the beach. I mentioned it down at Palmones. It's about 20 minutes, 25 minutes walk from the retail park up over there. So just give you a little tour. round. It's a nice little area, nice little town up that way. Restaurants, bars. We had a nice drink in a little square Sunday afternoon, and then you've got some residential and oil refinery. Looking over towards the Rock of Gibraltar, and then in the distance over there is the Algeciras port. You can just see a Balearia boat just in between those bits there. That's what we'll be getting on tomorrow, and then coming round back up, and that's where that direction is where we've been parked up. Right, good morning all. Just picking up the story in terms of transporting a pet to Morocco. Just go through the basics for a start. Since Brexit, you need an EU pet passport issued in the EU. We've had ours for a few years now. We got ours in France, but for more info on that, have a look at the various forums that there are for animal health certificates or the like on Facebook groups, etc. You then obviously need your rabies jabs up to date and marked in the passport. In our case, the first time we got the passport, they could only put a 12-month expiry on the jab, and then the subsequent one was for 3 years, so we're covered to 2026 at present. And then you need what's called a tea tree test, also done within the EU. Blood taken at a vet's and sent to an EU testing centre. Now, the way we did that is earlier this year we got one done in Germany. It cost us €190. You get a paper certificate, which you do need, and it gets marked in the middle pages of the pet passport. Some other people that we know quite regularly will come down to this part of the world, Algeciras, and then come to a vet's down here, get the blood drawn, but then you've got to wait about two weeks. I mean, it should be about 10 days in reality, but they always tell you 2 weeks or maybe even 3 weeks, depends on the vets, because they've got to send the blood off, get it back again. They can't do the test within their own laboratory if they have one. So obviously if you do that, then you're going to have to drive around for 10 days or 2 weeks before you get a call back from the vets to say that it's all ready. But as I say, fortunately we had all that sorted. And then when you go to the vet, as we did yesterday for the animal health certificate, you'll get information on attending what's called the PIF, which is the Spanish importation office, if you like, where you get a temporary export permit for the dog. So you've got to get the paperwork from the vet to bring to the PIF, as it's called. And they also give you a slip of paper with a code number on and a QR code with a map to get here. Now, we've potentially made a slight mistake. I think it'll all be okay, but when you get the animal health certificate from the vet, you've got to use it within 24 hours. So in our case, we had the appointment at lunchtime yesterday, and our sailing is at 10 a.m. this morning. So we set off following the Google Maps. We set off at 7:30 with plenty of time to get away from where we were parked up near Carlos's, and we've come down to the PIF. And just to explain, when you do follow the Google Maps code that you get, because that's the PIF over there that you need to come to. Although you'll see on that overhead gantry sign, there's another building called the PIF, which is described up there. Initially I went that way and went to that building, but actually it's this one over here you need to come to. You come off this, you come through the port buildings, and then you come to this area. There's a big sign that says bar. There's a little restaurant over there, and we've just pulled into this car park. There's the van. We've pulled into this car park, The problem is when I got here at about 7:45 this morning, you go through that door, and then the first lady looked at me a bit blankly in the reception, but then sent me upstairs, first floor, to the little window there. The fella said to me, "Oh, you're a bit early. Have you got an appointment?" That's the first time an appointment's been mentioned, and of course I don't have an appointment. And he said, "Well, it's a bit early. We can't process it yet. Can you come back at 9 o'clock?" So we're just hanging about now, just having a bit of breakfast. Give me a chance to film this, and we'll pop back in there at 9. Obviously you've got to take all your documentation. I just carry around with me in my sort of shoulder bag, passports, dog passport, the dog paperwork, which includes the teacher test. Although I don't think I need the teacher test here, to be honest. You need that when you're coming back from Morocco into Spain. But the animal health certificate and the V5 as well is a document they tend to ask for a lot. So I've got all that with me all the time, just in case. So yeah, with hindsight, what I should have done is, when we finished with the vets yesterday early afternoon, I should have come down here and got that sorted. But I said to the fella, "We've got a boat at 10 o'clock, will we be okay?" And he seems to think it's going to be fine. It doesn't appear to be that busy here anyway. So we're right by, I think we've only got a couple of minutes from here to drive to the actual ferry terminal itself. So we should be absolutely fine. But I would have saved myself a little bit of hassle if I'd have come here yesterday, got the import certificate done then, and then we could have just whizzed down here straight to the ferry terminal. So if that helps anybody, perhaps that's the better way of approaching it. But I'll leave it for now, and I'll just let you know how we got on. Right, all sorted at last. It's 9:15. The French fella turned up, and he got his done at the same time as me, but all good. You don't have to take your dog into the office, by the way. It's not clear. You don't need to take the dog, you just take your paperwork. Okay, off to the ferry terminal itself now. Cheers. So I thought I'd just show you all the different paperwork. This is his French passport, rabies jabs, and this is where the teacher test, it's page 14 in this version, is completed. That's the original teacher test certificate that we got in Germany in February. It lasts for the lifetime of the pet. And then when we've gone to the vet yesterday, obviously they fill in the examination section with the passport, which is there, page 29 in our case, just to say that the animal shows no signs of diseases. And then they give you this slip of paper to take to the PIF. This QR code is the Google Maps reference for the PIF. Now, do follow that, and I showed you on the earlier video exactly where to go. If you do what I did and look up at the signs, you end up going down to a different building. It's only next door, but follow that. Take this inside the PIF building, give them all this paperwork. This is the certificates, the animal health certificate from the vet, which you need to take to the PIF. We use the Brulina vet. This cost us €40. And you take all this gubbins in the PIF, and then you get one of these, which is a temporary export document with all the details on. stamped up and all that, so I presume they'll take that off us, or they'll examine it when we get over to Tangier Med. I think that's it. Right, so you go around the houses a few roundabouts, and also it's following the Tangier orange signs, and you end up, in our case, at the Baleara check-in here. Right, so I think that's probably a sign we've got to put in the window, is it? The red thing. Then we're going up to the passport control bit. So in the end, it's turned out to be quite simple. There's not many people here, as you can see. So being directed. I think we're going on the middle boat there actually. But anyway, we'll see where we get to. It's just the queue that's going to curl around. This is my French friend who sort of pushed in front of me. But what do you think, Jenny? How was that?
It was easy. Just follow the signs. Although we did try to go through a barrier that we weren't supposed to. We had to go backwards, didn't we?
As you can see, there's a massive Concorde van there, and there's a fella next to me, a French guy with a big A-class who's got a full-size car and a trailer. So if they can get on, then I'm sure we can.
Hooray, wagons roll! Exciting, Caps, isn't it?
So we just watched that massive Concorde, like a coach almost, going up there, and the van with the trailer. I've seen videos where people have had to sort of go on sideways, if you will, at an angle onto the ramp, but this boat here doesn't seem to have that issue.
That one there.
Yeah, it's got a huge trailer. Obviously we've got a bike rack on the back of ours, and a reasonable overhang, but we're not
they can do it.
we're not as big as some. So yeah, I was just saying that this ramp seems to be quite it's a bit of a bump to get up it, but there's not like a huge angle difference. So here we go.
Breathe in.
Gonna send down the right hand side. So balance out the weight.
It's our French friend.
He must have been sent a different way.
Oh,
So plenty of room, as you can see. There's no sort of there's a fella here who's trying to get run over.
No, it's not. It's gonna help you get right close to that car in front, like they do on Channel Tunnel crossing.
Okay.
Hooray! See?
Right. Right, so we're just following the signs. Purple signs. So to go down here. Captain's behind us. Obviously some access to passenger area. This is the fun bit with the dog. Come on, up, up. Good boy. Good boy. Come on, up, up. Come on, good boy.
That were better.
Good boy. When you get up onto the ferry itself, there'll be a desk, something like that, where you get these little documents, which are the entry documents into Morocco, just to fill some details in. It's not 100% obvious. If you see the top two lines, just leave those blank and then start with your name, and then passport details, date of delivery, she's told me is the passport issue date, and then coming from Algeciras, Spain, going to Tangier Med, and then address in Morocco. We've just put down the name of the first campsite that we're going to, and then you've got to go down here, I think, to get it stamped or something, or passport control. So feel a bit relieved getting those stages out of the way. I knew it was going to be hard work with Captain on them steps, but if that's the worst that it can be, he's fine now. He's settled down, so see you in a bit. Just walking back through the reception area. There's a duty-free shop there, some toilets, various seating areas. I'll show you the cafeteria. Various snacks and stuff, and as you can see, far from full. And here's our little family here. Hooray! So it's 11:15. So we've been running for about half an hour or so. There's the rock behind me. And that's our first view of Africa. So we're just coming into Tangier Med now. I'm going to swing around. Is it?
We've been lucky really, haven't we? Because there's been some bad weather about. Oh, we've dodged it.
Yeah. The crossing was smooth enough anyway. Could just detect a bit of movement, but not an awful lot.
I think in hindsight though, we'll leave Captain in the van next time, because it was an hour and a half, that wasn't it?
X-ray scanner.
See, there's that guy with all bikes on top. His roof. It's been about 15 bikes.
They've come from another boat. That was a bit strange. This is the X-ray machine next to us. We joined the queue, and then the fella started waving us out of the queue. So we've ducked past loads of vans and etc. And then we've come up towards the customs bit, and we've been sort of sent around this little loop. So it looks like we are going through the X-ray. Bit weird. There's we're at the X-ray machine. Looks like they're fixing it with a bit of gaffer tape over there. They've got this big wire that runs across, but I won't stick it up too much. There's also some sort of migrant fellas over there who keep shouting across. Some people have just been with food and that for them. Right, hiya. We're in Morocco. Quick update. That was about 30-40 minutes to get through the customs etc. at Tangier Med port. Not too bad, and obviously we benefited from it not being that busy. So we came up to that customs queue. We were sent round the houses a little bit, but then sort of cut in front of this queue of obviously Moroccan or some sort of commercial vehicles that were bringing goods in, I think. And then we just had to wait our turn to go through the X-ray machine. I think they were X-raying pretty much everybody. They looked like there was a couple of big vans that didn't get X-rayed to me, but I wasn't sure. And then just a bit of a palaver going through a couple of custom stops where they check your V5 a couple of times, obviously your passports. It looks like they enter your vehicle details into their computer system, so presumably when you're on the road, or the police know who you are. Just incidentally, we had about 40 bottles of wine, a dozen cartons of wine, a couple of slabs of beer. Obviously nothing illegal, but we've got food, and none of that was even looked at really. He just asked to look in the back of the garage cupboard. It was actually the side that didn't have the wine in, but I don't think they're too bothered. They're looking for drones. You can't bring your drone into Morocco. Weapons, drugs, better. There was a place as you come out of the port where there was like an inward shop, but the fella wanted us to pull over and I think give some details and fiddle about, so we weren't in the mood for that. We just wanted to crack on, and it's easy to spot the little porter cabins where they sell the insurance as well. So anything to add?
No.
You happy?
All good. I'm glad I'm through.
Yeah, we're glad we're through. It's you know, nothing to hide, but there's always that bit of fiddling about, and they take your paperwork off somewhere and you lose sight of it, which always is slightly worrying. But they're all fine. They're very pleasant, friendly guys actually. It was more hassle getting into Turkey earlier this year.
Turkey was the worst. Wasn't it?
Yeah, so they're more interested in the locals and what they're bringing in. They don't seem to be bothering very much at all with tourists, which is, again, that's our understanding, that they want to protect tourism. They don't want to hassle tourists who are not going to be doing out daft anyway. So there we go, all good. So that's us done. Hope the video's been useful. We're now 4 days in. We've had a nice introduction to Morocco, so it's well worth the trip. We've had a few days in Chefchaouen, and now we've been to Fez today. So that's a wrap on this first video. We'll intend to do a few more, perhaps shorter ones, just with learns and things that we think might be useful to share. But for now, over and out. Bye.